My husband and I gave birth to 3 children, 3 little boys, and then we had a miscarriage, and the miscarriage really left us devastated. It was a terrible loss, a terrible blow, and we both realized that there was room in the house for another baby. And I saw an advertisement in the church bulletin looking for foster parents, and so we decided to become foster parents, and we did. And David came to us when he was 6 weeks old. The agency called. They had a little baby who was born with Down syndrome, and they were looking for a home for him. They wanted a house where there was a lot of stimulation. And at that time, we had 5 little boys under the age of 6. So they figured that this house would have a lot of stimulation in it, and it would be good for Danny. I was afraid when I thought about having this child with Downs. I was afraid. Danny came, and he came dressed in a little blue stretch suit and wrapped in a little blue blanket. And he came and I held him in my arms, and he just nestled in there as if he belonged there. I didn't realize at the time that it was probably because he had low muscle tone. And I looked at him, and he had these beautiful violet blue eyes and a cute little face. And while I was holding him, my 4-year-old son came into the room, and he looked at Danny and he said, "Mommy, he looks just like baby Jesus." And I thought, he's right. He looked like a little baby. There was nothing ugly about him. He was a beautiful little child. And it took, I would say, about 20 minutes for my fear of what am I going to do with this baby who has Down syndrome stopped and became, what am I going to do with Danny, who is now my son? Maybe it took a half an hour, but no more than a half an hour. I had no expectations with these babies with Down syndrome the way I did with my older typical kids. I think I wasted a lot of time thinking that they were going to be the smartest child in the class or the best baseball player. I had no expectations of these babies with Downs. So whatever they achieved became for me a little miracle, and we celebrated that miracle over and over again with Danny, and then with John Francis and Maria Grace. The most important thing I learned from my children with Downs really is how to love. It's how to love someone for who they are. I almost think every engaged couple should meet with a person with Down syndrome and see how they function, see how they are able to love so that they are able to accept the other one for who they are. Once you do that with your little baby, you see him as who he is, the Down syndrome fades away. It's a challenge and not a disability. Once you receive the diagnosis of Down syndrome, you have to give yourself a chance to mourn the baby that you're not going to have. You really have to give yourself a chance to grieve that baby and come to know that you're going to receive a different baby. A different baby is going to be born. Down syndrome is a chromosomal disorder. It occurs at conception when the 2 cells unite. If one of the cells has 47 chromosomes instead of 46 chromosomes, that extra chromosome has to attach itself someplace. If it attaches itself on the 21st pair of chromosomes, trisomy 21 results. Trisomy 21, or Down syndrome, is the least debilitating of any of the trisomies. It is not a fatal diagnosis. Babies who are born with Down syndrome many times do have accompanying physical problems, although the physical problems can be treated surgically or otherwise repaired. Our third one, Maria Grace, had a large hole in her heart, which was surgically repaired. Really about 10% of babies born with Down syndrome are going to have heart problems. Some of them will have gastrointestinal problems. Those problems were corrected either by therapy or surgery. You don't have to worry about them. You will rise to the challenge of taking care of them. I never thought I would be able to put a tube down a baby's nose so that she could eat. You do it, you meet the challenge because you see the person who's there and you love that little person. I think people are afraid of Down syndrome because they don't have an experience of it. It also comes, I think, because you want a perfect child. I have to tell you that there are no such thing as perfect babies. Although we've only had 7 in this house, none of them were perfect. What I think you have to try to do is accept the fact that God is really giving you a gift and that you are going to open the gift to the best of your ability. Try to learn what you can about Down syndrome, but even more importantly than clicking on and going to your computer, talk to parents who have babies who have Down syndrome. You are not going to find one who is going to say, oh boy, I wish I had an abortion. These children bring too much love into the lives of the families where they are for people to feel that way. If you have a baby with Down syndrome, you will never be alone. First of all, everybody will be coming to you telling you what a cute little baby you have and how adorable your child is. Secondly, there are organizations for parents who have babies with Down syndrome and activities for them. If I could say anything to you, it would be don't go ahead and have the abortion. Really investigate carefully what Down syndrome is, what these babies and children are like. If you can't handle it, then go ahead, have the baby and put the baby up for adoption. There is a waiting list of parents who want babies with Down syndrome, who do not see Down syndrome as a disability, but who see it as a challenge and who will bless you, as I have blessed the 3 moms who gave birth to my babies, who will bless you for the rest of your life that you gave birth to these children, that you allowed them to live and you allowed them to bring joy into someone else's life if you felt you could not do it yourself. You certainly can look at our resources, the www.drvc-faith.org, and click under special needs and you will come to my webpage. You can call me. I would be happy to give you any information about organizations for parents that are available to you.